Compounding is one of those ideas everyone claims to understand. It's explained in school. It's quoted by famous investors. It shows up in personal finance books with neat charts and confident promises. And yet, almost no one feels it working. In real life, compounding feels boring, slow, underwhelming, sometimes pointless. You save, you invest, you wait. And year after year, the numbers barely seem to move. That disconnect is why so many people give up right before compounding starts doing the heavy lifting. This piece is about why compounding feels so slow, why that feeling is normal, and how the 7-5-3-1 rule explains the moment when everything finally changes. The promise versus the experience. The promise of compounding sounds magical. Money that makes money. Your returns earn returns. Time does the work for you. But here's the lived experience for most people in the first decade. You save a few $1,000s. You invest consistently. The market goes up, then down, then sideways. After several years, your balance doesn't look much different than the sum of what you put in. That gap between promise and experience creates doubt. You start asking quiet questions. Am I doing this right? Is this even worth it? Wouldn't I be better off just spending the money now? Nothing feels exponential. Everything feels linear. And that's not a failure of discipline or intelligence. It's a feature of how compounding actually works. Compounding is backloaded by design. Compounding does not grow evenly over time. It grows slowly at first. Painfully slowly. That's because early growth is happening on a small base. Even strong percentage returns don't produce eye-catching dollar gains when the starting number is modest. A 10% return on $5,000 is $500. A 10% return on $500,000 is $50,000. Same rate, completely different emotional impact. The math hasn't changed. The base has. Most charts showing the power of compounding quietly skip over this emotional reality. They jump from year 1 to year 30 with a smooth upward curve. But they don't sit with you in years 3, 5, or 8 when progress feels invisible. That invisibility is where people quit. The human brain is bad at exponentials. Part of the problem is biological. Humans evolved to understand linear cause and effect. If you walk twice as far, you expect to get twice as tired. If you save twice as much, you expect to see twice the result. Compounding doesn't work like that. Early on, effort and reward feel disconnected. You're doing the right things, but the feedback loop is weak. Psychologists call this a delayed reward system. And delayed rewards are notorious motivation killers. Your brain wants proof now. Compounding says, come back later. Why most people quit right before it works. Here's the cruel irony. The point where compounding becomes obvious is usually right after the point where most people give up. They stop investing. They pause contributions. They pull money out after a bad year. They decide it's not worth the effort. Not because they were wrong, but because the math hadn't had enough time yet. This is where the 7-5-3-1 rule comes in. The 7-5-3-1 rule explained. The 7-5-3-1 rule isn't a law of physics. It's a mental model. A way to understand when compounding starts to feel different. Here's the rough breakdown. 7 years to feel like you're no longer starting from zero. 5 years after that to notice momentum. 3 years to see compounding outpace contributions. 1 year where growth finally feels undeniable. These aren't exact timelines. Markets vary, income varies, contribution rates vary. But the pattern shows up again and again. Let's walk through each stage. The first 7 years, the invisible phase. The first 7 years are where faith is built or broken. During this phase, most of your balance comes from your own contributions. Market gains are modest in dollar terms. Losses feel personal and discouraging. You're doing the work, but the scoreboard doesn't reflect it. This is where people say things like, I've been investing for years and it hasn't done much. What they really mean is, I'm still in the phase where compounding is mathematically constrained. there's no shortcut through this stage. You can only pass through it. The goal here isn't optimization. It's survival. Consistency matters more than returns. Behavior matters more than strategy. The next 5 years, the momentum phase. Somewhere after year 7, something shifts. Your balance is larger now. Not impressive, but meaningful. A good market year starts to produce gains that feel real. You begin to notice annual growth matching or exceeding what you save in a year. Fewer emotional reactions to volatility. A subtle confidence that this might actually work. This is the phase where people start paying attention to their accounts again. Not obsessively, but with interest. Momentum is forming, even if it's not dramatic yet. The 3-year shift, when compounding takes the lead. Then comes the quiet tipping point. For many people, this happens over a 3-year window. You look at your statements and realize something unsettling. Your money is growing faster than you can add to it. Your contributions still matter, but they're no longer the main driver. This is where compounding stops being theoretical. It starts doing visible work without your direct effort. And once this happens, motivation changes completely. You're no longer pushing a boulder uphill. You're guiding something that wants to roll on its own. The 1-year realization, oh, this is what they meant. Finally, there's the year that makes everything click. It might be a strong market year, or a steady one combined with a large base. But you open your account and see growth that would have taken you years to save on your own. This is the moment people refer to when they say, compounding is powerful. They don't mean the abstract idea. They mean the feeling. And once you've felt it, you never see money the same way again. Why the rule matters more than the math. You don't need to memorize formulas to benefit from compounding. You need patience calibrated to reality. The 7-5-3-1 rule does that. It sets expectations. It tells you, feeling behind early is normal. Boredom doesn't mean failure. Slow progress is still progress. Most importantly, it gives you a reason not to quit too soon. Compounding isn't just about money. The same pattern shows up everywhere. Skills, careers, relationships, health. Early effort produces little visible payoff. Then momentum builds. Then results accelerate. The mistake is assuming the early phase reflects the eventual outcome. It doesn't. It reflects the math of beginnings. The real risk is impatience. People often talk about investment risk as market crashes or bad timing. But the bigger risk for most individuals is behavioral. Stopping early. Changing strategies constantly. Abandoning a plan because it feels slow. Compounding punishes impatience and rewards endurance. Not brilliance, not prediction, endurance. What to do while you wait. If you're in the slow phase, here's what actually helps. Automate contributions so you don't rely on motivation. Track consistency, not short-term returns. Zoom out when reviewing progress. Measure years, not months. The goal is to stay in the game long enough for the math to turn in your favor. The uncomfortable truth. Compounding doesn't feel fair early on. You do a lot and get little. Later, you do little and get a lot. That imbalance is exactly why it works. If the rewards were evenly distributed, there'd be no advantage to starting early or sticking with it. The curve is the feature. When you're tempted to quit, remember this: the frustration you feel is not a sign something is broken. It's a sign you're still early. The only way compounding fails is if you remove time from the equation. And time only works if you let it. Compounding doesn't announce itself. It sneaks up on you after years of quiet discipline. The 7-5-3-1 rule isn't a guarantee. It's a reassurance. If you feel like nothing is happening, you're probably right on schedule. Stay long enough, and one day you'll look back and realize the slow years were doing more work than you ever imagined. Compounding doesn't feel powerful at first. It feels slow, boring, and easy to quit. That's why most people never stick around long enough to see it work. In this video, we break down why compounding feels broken in the early years, The psychological trap that causes people to quit too soon. The 7-5-3-1 rule, and when growth finally becomes obvious. How to stay consistent long enough for the math to turn in your favor. This channel is about understanding money the way it actually behaves in the real world. No hype, no get-rich-quick nonsense. Just clear explanations of the systems behind wealth. If this changed the way you think about compounding, give it a like so more people see it. Subscribe to Money Mechanics. If you want clear, practical explanations of how money really works. No noise. No shortcuts. Just the mechanics. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.